Hello. I'd like to talk about the plastic problem. The plastic problem is not new, it's been with us for decades. Various people have kicked up a fuss about it and then it's all subsided and we've just carried on producing more and more and more. Recently, there have been some very seminal television programs demonstrating the extent of the waste, the pollution, and the lack of ability to deal with all this stuff. But still, we don't know what to do about it. And if you look around your own home, as I just did, just a very quick glance will show you how strongly integrated into our lives plastic actually is, and how difficult it's going to be, if at all it's possible, to separate our lives from the plastic component. So I'm just going to give you a quick tour of the things I found in my home in like a 10-minute look. Just see if you can count how many there are. Well, did you manage to count them? I must say I lost count a long way back. I know I'm not particularly numerate, but it just demonstrates, and you turn the television on, which itself is plastic, and in this country we have had several changes of television. A few years ago we had little square boxes, and then we had bigger boxes, and then we had to go HD. And all these old televisions, they're going into landfill, or God knows where they're going. Redundant electronic equipment. Anyway, but I've got television, so I watch it. So I don't know about other parts of the so-called developed world. I prefer to call it overdeveloped. But But in this country, in the UK, television adverts seem to be nothing but cars. They're trying to push cars on us, and cosmetics in plastic containers, and drinks in plastic drinks bottles. And then fast food, which everybody knows is just disruptive to all the ecosystems of the planet. And I don't know why we have to have this stuff pushed onto us. We don't seem to find a way to stop it. People just see it and so they buy it. Who hasn't got a car? I mean, it's very difficult to imagine living without one in the modern world. And yet, I recently discovered that it's not just the emissions from the exhaust that are polluting the atmosphere, but it's the ground up little bits of tyre when the tyres are rolling on the roads, and it's things from the engine, it's a whole load of little tiny particles that you can't see that are getting into the environment and into our lungs and just ruining our lives, basically. Well, I have to say, I'm getting on a bit now. I'm 66 years old, and my life has straddled the transition between a sort of natural way of life and an entirely artificial way of life. And so I can see what we could be doing, whereas most of today's generation probably have absolutely no idea. A lot of people have vague yearnings to get back to nature, wandering in the wild, hunting for your own food, permaculture, all these fun things. But that's because we developed as a species within that natural environment, and we've just lost our way. We don't appreciate anymore what it is we've actually lost or what it is we need to do about it. And in the process, we're destroying the entire world for every species, not just for ours. So I just want to say, what are the basic requirements for human existence? Is it televisions? Is it plastic bottles of the latest concoction for refreshing, revitalizing, what do they call it, rehydrating? Is it endless reiterations of electronic gizmos to play on? No, I would say it comes down to a few simple things. Number one, food and drink. Number two, human society. The sense that you're part of a community, that your presence makes a difference, that you're communicating and helping people. It's really a sense of what the sense of purpose boils down to is just helping people. That's all it is. And then the third thing I would say for me is physical comfort, lack of discomfort, avoidance of pain and things that make life difficult. And other than that, I don't think we actually need anything. And yet, most of us spend our entire lives chasing dreams, producing stuff we don't need, selling stuff we don't need. How many of us are actually involved in the basic elements necessary to existence? And this is such a shame. And I think about that. Loads of people think about this. What is the way out of it? How can we back out of this dreadful technological jam we've got ourselves into, where we're destroying everything and we can't even see the wood for the trees, as it were?